everyone. I am Marian Isguera from 3CRIA 2-4 of Pinma Arroyo University from College of Criminal Justice Education. And this is presented to Dr. Elenita G. Cuenca. This is entitled as Tool Marks, wherein I will discuss the tools and tool marks and characteristics of tool marks, types of tool marks, three major categories of tool marks, and the examination or collection of tool marks and how the tool marks help in criminal investigation. The objectives I should meet are explain the characteristics of tool marks and identify the different types of tool marks. So now let's start the discussion knowing what is tools. Basically, tools is a handheld device that aids in accomplishing a task. So, ito yung mga device na usually is metal device na ginagamit for some reason like pag magkakat ng wood or ng metal. Next is the tool marks. This is the impression left by the contact of a tool onto a surface. So, ito naman yung mga impression or mga scratch that will permanently become a scratch in a surface na gawa ng mga tools. And next is the characteristics of tool marks. First is the class characteristics. Typically, allow the examiner to determine what type of tool created the impression and how the mark was created. In class characteristics, madedetermine ni examiner kung anong klase ba yung tool na ginagamit and paanong nangyari kung bakit ganun yung naging itsura ng tool marks. And last is the individual characteristics. This is also known as accidental characteristics. It consists of small, commonly microscopic, indentations, ridges, and irregularities present on the tool itself. So, in individual characteristics, makikita mo dito is yung mga small ridges, yung parang madaming scratches in the same position. For example is, yung screwdriver, pag gumamit ng force towards one surface is magkikreate yun ng isang impression like individual characteristics. And now, let's talk about the types of tool marks. First is the impression mark. This is the negative reproduction of the tool surface. So, yung impression mark naman is yung pag yung tool surface is nag-iwan ng mark like ridges or scratch sa isang surface. Next is the abrasion or friction mark. This is made through cutting or sliding action of tools which produce striated areas on the marked surface. So, eto daw yung mga mark na nakikreate by means of cutting or sliding. For example, si X, para makapasok siya sa bahay na pagnanakawan niya is gumamit siya ng grinder para maputol yung padlock. And through that is dun mo makikita yung sa may edge part nung padlock is dun mo makikita yung abrasion or friction mark. And now, let's talk about the major categories of tool marks. First is the indentation marks. These are made by a tool when it contact to the softer surface and forming a negative impression. So, dito naman is for example, yung hammer is nagkaroon ng contact with the old wood, maglulose down ng konti yung natamaan ng hammer na yun and hindi na siya magiging ka-align nung original level ng wood or ng old wood. So, next is the abrasion marks. These are produced when a tool is placed against another object and moved parallel to the across the object with pressure applied. So, eto naman daw yung mga parallel ridges na made by tools like screwdriver. And the last one is the cutting marks. These are produced along the edge of a cut surface. So, you will see the cutting marks pag for example is ginamitan ng metal saw yung isang surface, for example, yung padlock, dun mo makikita yung cutting mark sa mismong edge. And now, let's talk about on the collection and examination of tool marks. So, first, tool mark is observed, measured, and described. So, kailangan daw is yung tool marks, ma-observe mo siyang mabuti and ma-measured mo, then kailangan kaya mong i-describe. Second is photograph perpendicular to the tool mark. So, kailangan daw picturean mo siya ng in a patayo na way yung tool mark. Then third is do casting of tool when some tools mark are didn't collected as evidence. So, for example, is may hindi ka nakuha na tool mark as an evidence, kailangan mong gumawa ng or kailangan mong mag-produce ng casting of tool. So, dito, For example, is ang ginamit sa tool mark na hindi mo nakuha as evidence sa crime scene is yung screwdriver. So, gagamit ka rin ng screwdriver para makapag-create ka ng scratches. Fourth is start the comparison process. So, yung pang fourth is pang 5 na examination or collection is almost connected. So, start the comparison process and through the use of comparison microscope is magagawa mo yung comparison process kung saan is malalaman mo yung kung may pinagkaiba ba yung known na tool marks sa unknown tool marks. And now, how the tool marks help in criminal investigation. So, using the comparison microscope, the examiner will examine the evidence gathered and compare it to the known evidence. And when the result is released and found that it is related to the suspect, then the suspect will become a criminal and find guilty. So, by the use of tool marks, the case is solved. That is all about tool marks. Again, I am Marian Isguera, your presenter from 3CRI A2-4, and this is presented to Dr. Elenita G. Cuenca. And objectives I met are explain the characteristics of tool marks and identify the different types of tool marks.